WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We interrupt your programming now for a tornado warning in Iroquois County. We are now going live and will continue this coverage. We're watching an area of rotation very near Cissna Park, a likely tornado developing just to the northwest of town, moving to the south and southeast. And so we're getting our digital platforms live. We're streaming on there. We're also here on TV, and we'll stay with you for this particular warning. This is for southern Iroquois County. The tornado warning goes until 9, looks like it goes until, check the time here. We're going to have that tornado warning continue for at least the next 30 minutes here based on things. So we're watching this tornado warning now in Iroquois County, and we'll continue to monitor. Let's go ahead and bring the graphics full real quick. If we can bring max 2 full for me. And we're going to adjust some things behind the scenes and get set here as we have this tornado warning that was just issued moments ago by the National Weather Service. This will include Cissna Park. It will include Milford. It will include areas to the north of Hoopeston. I do not have a warning in Vermilion County at this point. But we're watching that storm that has spun up near Cissna Park. You can see those counties and those towns that are in that warning, and will continue to be so here for a little while longer. Quick update on the text here. The warning is going to go until 9:15, so we'll likely be here for a little while longer. If we can as well, let's go ahead and let news know. We normally have WCIX News at 9. We're going to go ahead and probably blow that out for a bit. We also are now on CBS streaming with this tornado warning. This will include Cissna Park. It will include areas north of Rankin on Illinois 49 between Rankin and Cissna Park. That's the immediate concern. Illinois 1 north of Hoopeston towards Wellington, and Milford also the main concern right now. Not concerned at this point for Gilman, Oarnarga, Watseka, up towards Donovan. This is southern Iroquois County with this rotation that's moving on into the area, so we're going to monitor it pretty closely here. The time now is 8:53. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Some updates for you if you need to. You're in that area, you need to head to your shelter. You can head to your shelter and use the WCIA 3 weather app. We're going to watch and stream through that, so you can turn the volume up on your TV and head to your shelter immediately right now. Most concerned for Cissna Park. Need to head to your shelter as we watch this tornado warning for Iroquois County. That goes at least until 9:15 here. Other than that, let's go ahead and pull the sky cam if we can. I'd like to put that up real fast for a quick second and show that. I'm going to get some information out posted to our digital platforms. And we want to look at the sky cam, the weather camera, and weather camera 1 if we can. The sky cam, I'd like to get that up and take a look off to the east here. If you guys can pull that in the back for me, that'd be real helpful. We want to look at the storm from our Champaign camera and point it off to the north and east. So again, control, if you can pull the sky cam, the weather metrics camera, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I'm going to have to pull that in myself here. That's fine. Let me just pull that up then real fast. There we are. We're looking to the north and east from Champaign. This storm's been an electric storm and has continued to have lots of lightning. In fact, the average rate of lightning with this storm was over 2,000 strikes an hour. A very powerful storm now in southern Iroquois County as we monitor, as we're live here on TV and on digital platforms. So we're watching the storm here, and we'll bring it back to radar in just a second. All right, the time now continue to be 8:54. Now that I've got my digital content posted, we've got notices put through the app. We've got our Facebook updated and Twitter. Let's go ahead and talk more about this particular storm and watch it here and take a zoom in. So you can go ahead and bring me back on camera, and I'll point things out. We've just got one cluster of storms here in southern Iroquois County. Lots of folks watching elsewhere. DeWitt County, there's a line of gusty showers pushing through. No severe threat with that at this time. More off to the west. We'll really focus on Iroquois County. I know a lot of folks are out and about tonight for the Champaign County Fair, places like that. This storm right here, though, is the main concern here. Here's Illinois 49. You get through Cissna Park. Once you take the loop to the east and then back to the north, the school district sits there on the northeast side of town. This storm due over Cissna Park with some strong rotation at this point. I'll show you our velocity. And we'll have to look at a couple of different angles here. These greens showing inbound winds really picking up. The reds showing winds coming around here. That likely tornado very near or just east of Cissna Park, moving off to the south and east here at about 30 miles an hour. That's using our Chicago radar. We'll take a look at another vantage point and another one just to get as many looks at this storm as we can. But that area very near Cissna Park at this point is my main concern. Buckley, Loda, Lake Iroquois, Bales Lake, not concerned about you. This is to the east. Fountain Creek, Goodwine, Wellington, Hoopeston to the north on Illinois 1 right now. From Milford to the south also. concern with this storm, but for areas by Watsika, not really concerned at this point there. What I want to do real quick is remind you, if you have any information or power outages, you can let us know in the chat. We're monitoring that as best we can here and continuing to watch, and we'll continue to do so as we monitor this particular storm moving on in. So if we can, let's bring the graphics full real quick. And I want to go ahead and try and get my stream online taken care of and make sure we're monitoring that correctly and pop it on in here. So we're watching this and continuing to monitor this particular storm here very near Cissna Park as it moves off to the south and to the east. We'll continue to watch this storm as long as need be. Our job and our duty here at WCIA is to bring back the bring coverage to those who are being impacted by the storm. This one little area of rotation right now just to the east of Cissna Park still has my eye and continues to do so for a while, but a lot of heavy rain. Wellington, Prairie Green, Goodwine, Fountain Creek, areas north of Hoopeston. There's no tornado warning at this point for Vermilion County. We've got two different National Weather Service offices that filter that area in. But that's going to be what we continue monitoring here and continue to watch. We know there's a campground very near Goodwine called Timber Meadows. Folks there need to be sheltering. We're really just primarily focused on the southern Iroquois County, and you can kind of get an indication of where that rotation is and what's happening, especially when I pull that velocity back on. I'm going to pull a different product here really fast and give you another view. You'll see here those greens, a sign of winds surging to the south, those reds, a sign of wind surging into the storm. That circulation in my mind now is sitting due 2 miles east of Cissna Park. Still Cissna Park, I need you in your shelter at this point. And we'll be sure, and we look at our debris tracker as well, using our different radar sites here to make sure we're not seeing a tornado down at this point. And by everything I'm looking at, strong rotation, the main indication. But we are not seeing any confirmation based on radar of a tornado down in the Cissna Park area. Still, though, a sign of some strong rotation very near Cissna Park here at 8:58. As we continue to look across the area, strong winds are continuing to push on in here. Northeastern Vermilion County, let's go ahead and bring camera 1 up here real fast. Northeastern Vermilion County, you can bring me full here, there we go, is also under a severe thunderstorm warning. This goes until 9:15. This will include Hoopeston and Bismarck, areas east of Potomac. Basically, the Route 1 corridor from Hoopeston through Rossville and Bismarck, east of Potomac towards the state line, east of Rankin, including East Lynn and Hoopeston. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. No tornado warning for that area as of now, but we'll continue to watch it and monitor that pretty closely here for a little while longer. The only warning we have is still that tornado warning in the Iroquois County area. We'll watch the general trend here. With that south and eastward motion, it's something I still think we need to continue to monitor. I'd like to give you some tips, though. If you're watching us in southeastern Iroquois County, what we want here is we want this to have, proceed to your safe place, leave your mobile home, get out of a car, in, down, and up. Remember, getting inside, most interior room. We want to get max 1 on the quad, please. Most interior room down as low as you can and covering up with blankets, pillows, and a mattress. Let's go ahead and bring max 2 full as well if we can. We're showing those tips for under a tornado warning. Staying until all clear will give you that all clear. And watching our coverage online, of course, or you can turn the TV up and have the volume help to give you that information here. I'm using another product here that I like to look at storms in as many ways as possible to understand what's happening. This is the Iroquois County right here. There's Ford County. You've got Paxton, Gibson City, Melvin, Roberts, Thawville, Gilman, Onarga, Buckley, Loda, Paxton. Hoopeston sits right here. There's Rankin. This primarily is near Cissna Park still. And as I zoom on in here, you'll see this almost little notch feature picking up right in here. There's Illinois 49 carries you to the north. We've got Illinois 1 right here, Milford, Hoopeston. This storm right here still has my eye, not moving all that fast, but still moving slow enough where we're going to say some of the things at the same time. We know in TV when we're doing wall-to-wall coverage, folks come in, they come out, they turn it on, they get the alert, and so we continue to repeat that same information for new viewers that we welcome here for our severe weather coverage with the tornado warning in Iroquois County. We'll look at the velocity again here, and you can see right to the east of Cissna Park some of those greens and reds coming together. As I look back a little bit, kind of backing it up a bit, that rotation really looks fairly decent still at this point. I'm not overly concerned of really anywhere else in the area, but I think Cissna Park, Fountain Creek, there's a campground down there by Goodwine. Those areas are my main concern. If you live in Milford, I think Milford proper is going to be okay at this point. I give it all clear there. Anyone south of Milford, though, the next mile or a couple of miles south on Illinois 1, that's also an area of concern here. Areas from north of Hoopeston, north of East Lynn, I'd be watching with Vermilion County addresses, with Iroquois County addresses, more concern for the Fountain Creek and also for Cissna Park at this point. That circulation still very close to Cissna Park, but I have no update with the area of rotation yet at this time. Let's go ahead and bring back those tornado warning precautions up full screen if we can here. Again, if you're under that tornado warning, I just got an update that I want to check real fast. We bring that max to full, and we'll bounce back full, camera full if we move on through. Under that tornado warning, that's going to be those tips again for our friends that are in Iroquois County. We're still watching some other areas of spin that is a concern here for the area. Let's go ahead and bring camera 1 up now, and I'll talk a little more about what we're looking at. This is the area-wide view at this point. Folks, in Champaign-Urbana, we don't have anything of concern here in Champaign County. Danville, no concern there. We've got no concern in Decatur or even in Springfield. And there's a few showers out there. We're going to watch this little batch of storms as it continues to the south and east here. Iroquois County, the main focus right now. The next in line is going to be northeastern Vermilion if this storm is able to hold together. We want to make sure we take a big vantage point, broad view to make sure everyone's aware. We're not talking about your area. That's because there's not a whole lot going on here. Yeah, there's some gusty showers and whatnot. We'll update periodically, but the focus at this point is going to be for southeastern Iroquois County. Getting an update from the National Weather Service as I zoom in here. They're saying that while the initial circulation near Cissna Park is showing some signs of weakening a little bit, they're watching a new one develop near Claytonville and moving towards the county line. So Vermilion County here, you've got Wellington, Claytonville sits in there as well. We're going to watch all of this area here in far southern Iroquois County. If it continues, it may trek its way into northern Vermilion County. So East Lynn, Hoopeston, maybe even as far south as Rossville. If you're in those areas, the best advice is to be watching closely. If you need a little extra time to shelter or you need to make sure your shelter is cleared out, go ahead and take that time now just in case this storm continues. Fingers crossed here. We get this warning to die out and we're done here at 9:15. We'll be back on WCIX News. But if the warning is extended into Vermilion County, then that's going to be East Lynn, Rossville, and Hoopeston next in line. Just a severe thunderstorm warning at this point, but no immediate concern for areas down by Danville. Danville, Georgetown, Ridge Farm, Catlin, Jamaica side. Not worried about your part of the county. It would be far northeastern Vermilion County at this point that has my eye as we continue to watch here. Let's jump back to our velocity and talk about things a little bit from a radar vantage point. Again, you're seeing that circulation near Cissna Park has now moved off to the east. At this point, areas along and west of Illinois 49, I can give the all clear to. Though I still think south of Cissna Park, a couple of miles, you get past the second set of curves there outside of town, that first set of curves on 49 between Rankin, you go north. From there south to the county line, I'm still watching that area, and then also really interested in this feature near Fountain Creek, near Goodwine, moving off to the south and east. That's going to be about 5 miles to the north and west of Hoopeston, where that tornado warning is here. Hoopeston, again, I'm going to mention you a lot. You're next in line. I've got no indication from the National Weather Service that we're going to have a tornado warning extended into Vermilion County, but we continue to monitor East Lynn, Hoopeston, Illinois 9 to the east of East Lynn towards the state line. There's the new update here, very near Fountain Creek right now. That just came on in here at 9:05. That circulation, those greens and reds coming together, showing a couplet in place. And if I pull the correlation coefficient, that's our debris detector, debris tracker, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking to see if there's any blues showing up. I don't have anything that's sticking out to me from this particular one. I'll look at all 3 different sites to get an idea. We'll look at Chicago, we'll look at Lincoln, we'll look at Indianapolis. If I saw a core, a little circle of blue pop up there, that would indicate debris being lofted in the air. The way our debris tracker looks is it's looking at the particles or the objects it's sampling in the air. If they're all correlated, we see that high correlation, that red color in place. We see a dark blue column pick up there. that would be more of an indication of debris. So as of this point, I don't have anything that's showing a damaging tornado down, but still a very strong circulation now over Fountain Creek as it continues off to the south and to the east. The time now is 9:06. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We missed the 9 o'clock news in WCIX. Jamie Mays is standing by waiting. We're hoping by 9:15 to be done with this if the storm continues off to the south and east. If that's the case, on CBS we'll go back to regular programming, and on WCIX we'll start the newscast at 9:15 based on the way things look now. Until then, though, we'll stay here and continue to broadcast for our friends in Iroquois County with this tornado warning that goes until 9:15. About 3 miles southeast of Cissna Park is where the area of circulation is that has my eye here. Checking some of my other products, I'm really interested in that feature. It'll be about 3 or 4 miles north of East Lynn as well. That's an area that has my eye here. Seeing some signs, maybe it will continue to broaden. The latest update just came on in. Claytonville, Goodwine, Fountain Creek, Alonzo, Wellington, and some of those are small towns that we're watching here south between Cissna Park and Hoopeston with this storm moving off to the south and to the east. It's a close call here. We know we've got Vermilion County right on the edge. That is the National Weather Service in Lincoln's responsibility. Then we go to Iroquois and Benton counties. That's the National Weather Service in Chicago's responsibility. And then we catch Fountain and parts of Warren County in Indiana. That's the National Weather Service in Indianapolis. They all have different ideas, different thoughts. They work together, but we may see what happens is the storm may weaken enough where Lincoln may hold off on a tornado warning. If that's the case, we'll still be behind the scenes watching. If Lincoln does decide to extend the tornado warning, you'll get the update first in the areas that could be affected on the WCIA 3 weather app. And if it's not, then we're just going to wrap things up here in about 8 minutes from now. That circulation really coming close to the county line. Let's take another area-wide view here, and I want to show you some of these other storms. Starting to see a stronger cell pop up to near Sibley, between Sibley and Melvin. That'd be near Strawn, right there by the curves on Illinois 47. And some more heavy rain from Roberts towards Melvin, pushing to the south and east towards Purduville, Paxton, Bales Lake, Lake Iroquois, Loda, and Buckley. No severe weather threat immediately with that, but likely some heavy rain and even some lightning here. Lightning's been one of the more impressive things with this storm. Starting to see some of those first strikes here in that cell east of Sibley. More of the impressive look is for that Iroquois County storm, the sign of all of that lightning in Iroquois County. Very much an indication of the strongest storm where the most lightning is. That's the way things tend to work for us here. Just got another update from the National Weather Service. They're continuing the tornado warning until 9:15 for Iroquois County. They also have the severe thunderstorm warning for Iroquois, Benton, and Vermilion counties that goes until 9:15. So likely in the next few minutes we'll get an understanding of the National Weather Service's next steps with this particular storm. And it seems like it may be cycling ever so slightly here. I'll tell you what, though, by looking at the orientation of the storm, it gives me the idea that perhaps it's in a favorable environment to at least keep some rotation. Whether or not that means another tornado warning, we'll wait and see here. But there's a nice flat base here, enough to show some inflow, perhaps coming in here, and the wrapping around near Fountain Creek south of Claytonville. At this point, Cissna Park, all clear. Still Goodwine, Wellington, Claytonville. Give me some more time. East Lynn, Hoopeston, you're steps away from your shelter in case the warning comes out. Watching on the WCIA 3 weather app, watching on digital platforms including Facebook and Twitter, or turning the volume up on your TV just in case you need to move to shelter here in these areas as we continue to monitor this. We'll mention we're watching the chats as well on our digital platforms if there are any updates. I will mention we're seeing reports of the sirens going off in Hoopeston. I think that's okay here. A lot of times what I like to suggest to folks is that the sirens you hear, we've got this mentality that they're tornado warning signs, and I should hear them at any point and every point. First off, if you're sleeping or you're already seeing the rain and storms, you may not hear those. Not the most reliable way to get weather information. A weather radio, a great way. Just get the information. We've had this go off on TV several times before when Champaign County has had alerts. Your WCIA 3 weather app, you can program that for your location, get your alerts for that. Another great way, of course, TV watching like we're on now, another great way to stay informed here. With the Hoopeston sirens, at this point, let's treat that as you need more information. I would encourage you to think of outdoor warning sirens, which are initially meant to be heard outdoors. That's a way to get more information to those folks that are outside. Folks that are inside may or may not hear them. You live next door like I did in Gibson City growing up. That siren went off in the middle of the night. We heard it. Our friends, though, on the south side of town didn't. you're sleeping, you can't really rely on. That's why that weather radio, the weather app are important ways that we stress for part of a severe weather safety plan. But with the sirens going off in Hoopeston, I think that's a sign that folks there probably turning on the TV, wondering what's going on. We're here for the tornado warning, but we've been saying East Lynn and Hoopeston next in line for this warning here, so we'll continue to monitor and keep an eye on things here. Seeing some reports of some power outages, brief power outages in parts of Iroquois County. I'm not surprised by that. There's been some real strong winds in that area, especially with storms that have gone through earlier in parts of Iroquois County. As I check the latest power outage numbers, we're seeing that the latest reports, sometimes they can be delayed, sometimes they're right on cue here. We've got about 500 customers without power in Iroquois County, and I'll get some information here more specifically about where that is, but we know there are at least some outages, a sign of at least damage in the area. Ameren reporting 466 customers without power. It looks like a majority of those are going to be near Milford and near Stockland, as well as Crescent City and Watseka. And I wonder here, in Watseka, looks like several hundred out in Watseka and a couple of hundred out in Crescent City as well. Wonder if that's going to have to do with the big power lines in US 24. You know, they got those tall lines there along the railroad tracks, the Toledo-Peoria and Western line there that goes on US 24. Maybe something happened with that. That's a main distribution line for the area. Until we get more information, though, we just know that this storm has had a history of damage given the power outages in that area. There were some indications earlier of 60 to 65-mile-an-hour winds with this storm. We're watching the storm closely here. Still, the tornado warning continues for Iroquois County. The time now 9:12. We should be a couple of minutes away here from deciding what's going to happen. So just for folks behind the scenes to know, behind the scenes, if we do exit coverage at 9:15, what we'll do is we'll go to WCIX, and I'll continue coverage there, and we'll get some news stories in, too. I know Jamie's been working hard all day to keep things updated. If we get an extension of the tornado warning, then the newscast will pretty much stick a fork in it here, and we'll be covering it more on CBS and WCIX. But if you're watching us on WCIA and we switch coverage, we'll take it on to WCIX and probably continue that for a little while here until we get a further idea. But we will sneak a commercial break in there to reset, talk with Jamie real quick about what happens. Again, it's 9:13, 9:15. All of these warnings expire here. So right now, either the National Weather Service is going to allow this to expire, or they're going to continue the tornado warning and extend it. We'll find that out. Either way, we'll at least give a couple of minutes of leeway before we get an official word on their decision before we send it back to coverage here, especially since we're riding on the county line into northern Vermilion County, that is, near Hoopeston. Quick view area-wide. Let's just, again, you know, we don't talk about everyone because not everyone's impacted. You can see your eyes are drawn to the splash of polygons and colors right there. That is going to be for the severe thunderstorm warnings and the tornado warning that go until 9:15. And we'll find out here in a minute. I think they're going to drop based on the initial thought. And just kind of getting those updates. They're working on their updates now, so we're going to find out here pretty closely. I will mention there's the indication of some stronger storms in Cass County now. The National Weather Service put out a special weather statement mentioning some strong gusty winds up to 40 miles an hour with storms coming from Schuyler County into Cass County here, Beardstown, Virginia, Littleton, Rushville sits right there. We'll watch that from afar. Just wanted to mention that and give a little love to our friends in West Central Illinois. Those storms will continue off to the south and to the east as it does so. The latest indication here, we're about 10 seconds away from figuring out what's going to happen. It looks like the National Weather Service, from what I'm seeing, is going to allow this to expire. I'm going to give myself a couple more minutes just to make sure that that's the case and we do get the all clear rather than dump out of coverage and then have to come back here. Sometimes, you know, they take an extra few seconds to get things going, or they're typing information and letting us know now with that warning. So at this point, still East Lynn, Hoopeston. There's no warning at now. 9:15, the warnings have expired. We'll wait and see here what's going on, and as we're doing that, we'll do a little radar analysis on things and continue to monitor closely here. The circulation for the, let's see here, kind of, you know, looking at different vantage points. The circulation in my mind, not all is evident here, showing signs that it's been cycling down. And we'll take another vantage point and another look here. And I'm checking over there, not seeing anything immediately indicating that there's going to be anything here. Still some gusty winds with these showers and storms as they carry off to the south and east. Still going to be some frequent lightning here, but at this point I think we're going to be about 60 seconds away from going back to coverage. Again, if you're watching us on WCIA, on CBS, you live in those areas, you want more information, join us on WCIX. We'll have a shortened newscast and talk more about what's happening there. I'll leave the digital platform on and we'll continue to monitor things, but at this point now, the active warnings for Illinois have expired. We'll mention there still is a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for McLean, Ford, Iroquois, and Livingston counties. That's going to go until 10 o'clock. So there may be an isolated threat for Champaign-Vermilion County that continues a little while longer. We still have that level 2 risk that's been pulled down to Interstate 72-74 for mainly a gusty wind, but an isolated tornado threat, much like we've just had here in parts of central Illinois. And looks like the official word coming in that the National Weather Service is going to allow all warnings to expire, they say, and we agree that circulation now approaching Hoopston has broadened and weakened substantially. The tornado threat now very low to near zero with that storm. If it spins up, though, we'll be back on TV bringing you more coverage. The time now is 9:17. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Thanks for sticking with us for our coverage of the severe weather threat in central Illinois. We're going to send it back to your regularly scheduled programming on CBS. Join us for our shortened 9 o'clock newscast on WCIX here in just a minute. Now back to your regularly scheduled program.